Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. We're with you for another week here on WFLA News. Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show here every Sunday at 10, dropping all of the local Tampa Bay real estate knowledge on you. And today is the first day. I think we're gonna be out of the 30s today. Obviously, we've had a winter. Our market, we've had a bad winter week. We've been in the 30s, even reports of some people believing they had snow in Tampa Bay, although I think it was probably just some rain. Nonetheless, a rough weather week. We've obviously had some rough weather weeks that hurt our real estate market. The hurricanes, for example, are still causing challenges, but certainly seems like we're past the worst of our winter storms, quote unquote, here on this Sunday. So when we aren't on air, make sure to follow us on all of our socials. We are at The Duncan Duo, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Maybe if it's all the way back or not, we're there when it comes back, when we can get apps again. I know there are some people on it and then people that uninstalled the app that can't reinstall the app. So either way, look for us at The Duncan Duo. You can follow me personally, The Andrew Duncan. And I share stuff more about my personal life and my car collection, and certainly some real estate things as well. So I want to talk today about getting top dollar for the sale of your home. There are so many real estate agents that have gotten into the business the last few years that really don't know how to give clients the best advice in a challenging market. They are used to markets that keep rising. They're not used to having grit and grind to get a sale done. They're not used to having uncomfortable conversations with their clients, and that is one thing that we bring to the table for realtors that aren't strong enough to tell their client the truth or the things they need to do and have homes that fail. I have some really strong agents that have been with me a long time that have a great background in sales that can help give you the advice to help you get to your next step and get your home sold. So what I want to talk about today is just some added value for our listeners that are thinking about selling their home on some things that they can do. Now, look, a year and 2 years ago, and even more so 3 or 4 years ago during the COVID market, when our demand was just skyrocketing and our supply was super low, you didn't have to do these things. You could probably sell your home and still get top dollar and then make the buyer take care of these things post-closing. But unfortunately, with what we're having happening in our real estate market today, sellers have to stay in front of these more. So, and let me explain that really quickly what I mean. So you had the hurricanes, which caused a lot of homes to be damaged. Had some of those homes sell while damaged, which unfortunately pulls down average sale prices and depreciates neighborhoods. Then you have some people that will have financial damages from said storms to where their home ends up becoming a short sale and foreclosure, also depressing prices a little bit. While at the same time, the storms being nationally advertised and broadcast zaps our population growth. There is no question that people from up north and Canada and other countries don't see sunshine and rainbows on the news every day. But you can bet your bottom dollar that when there is a hurricane, it's all over the news. So unfortunately, that stigma attaches and it makes people a little bit afraid of taking a move to Tampa Bay when they hear 2 back-to-back hurricanes and they saw all the disaster on TV. While most of that has been cleaned up, there's still remnants of it out there, and the stigma is still there. It has caused us to see a slowdown in population growth. Well, the population growth was the biggest thing fueling our home demand. So now that slows at the same time as prices depress a little bit because of the storms, and you have sellers that went through both storms and either moved here recently, so they hadn't been through one before, and got shocked, and now they're ready to leave again, or that have been here a long time and just don't want to go through it again, and now they're selling. So at the same time that we're losing some buyers and we're having some things put downward pressure on price, we're having sellers jump out of the market and say, I want to sell. Well, those two things working against themselves, or those two things working together, harms our market. It causes a, kind of an inverse supply and demand curve, which will cause prices to soften. So in a market like that, you have to think, as a seller, you have to think very entrepreneurial. You have to think like a business owner. You have to separate your emotional attachment to what you think about your house. Because here's what most sellers think about their house. Most sellers think that their home is the best home in the market, the best home in the neighborhood. It's the best. That's why they bought it. Okay. People unfortunately have a narcissistic, or not narcissistic, an egotistical view about their home and its relative ranking in the marketplace. Okay. So you have to separate yourself from your emotional attachment to the home. You also have to separate yourself from what the value used to be. There's never been more data for consumers and home sellers to know what their home is quote unquote worth. There's all kinds of different websites that track it. People can log in and look at it. And it's good from a standpoint of keeping you up to date with what is going on in the market so you can see trends. But oftentimes they're pretty far off. But nonetheless, it allows a homeowner to establish an opinion of value. Well, the opinion of value from the past, you kind of have to leave it in the past because there's a lot that's changed. And looking backward to value today's real estate market isn't as effective as looking forward with everything that we know is going to trickle down and affect our market. So as a home seller, what does that mean? That means if you're going to be one of the homes that sells, and this applies to condos too, but probably even more so to condos because that market is worse than the single family home market in terms of the supply and demand curve. So you have to have your home in the best condition and be the best priced to be one of the ones that's selected. In a market where inventory is rising, you now have more competition. Okay. You now have more chance that someone's going to undercut you on price. And you now have more chance that someone's going to come on and maybe they don't have a mortgage, so they don't need to get a number. The market doesn't care what you quote unquote need. It does not care. The buyer does not care what you need or want. It cares what can you justifiably prove that it's worth. So as a seller, you want to sell, you've got to price aggressive. You have to price ahead of the downward trend on price. If we expect prices to drop, and I fully do, the first 6 months of this year, we're going to see some depreciation. Now, again, not massive, not great recession depreciation, but we're going to see some. And because of that, a home seller has to price in front of that to impress a buyer. Buyers have the same data that sellers do about home values. They get to see the same trends. They get to see that chart pointing in a negative direction. When they see that, they say, okay, well, if this house is $500 today, maybe it's $450 by the end of the year. I don't want to pay $500. Okay. So they're going to negotiate. You're going to get a lower offer. So you've got to be aggressive with your price for two reasons. One, because it's what the buyer is going to expect. And two, because you have a lot more competition. And the last reason you need to be aggressive with the price is because what you're trying to do is create a seller's market for your house. Okay. So, for example, if you have a $500,000 house that could potentially sell for $475,000, if you put it at $500,000, and it takes a few months to sell, and it sells for $475,000. Now, you have a greater chance of getting more money for that house by creating multiple offers on it. So pricing it ahead of the pricing trend. So if we think pricing is going to be $450,000 by the end of the year, price it at $450,000 now. And here's what ends up happening a lot of the time. The market delivers more opportunities and you negotiate up. If you've ever watched an auction, and look, I'm a car junkie, so I watch Barrett Jackson and Mecum and all these different things, and I see cars go for stupid money sometimes because you get two people bidding against each other, okay? And then emotion kicks in on the buyer side and the seller wins. So you have to think like that as a home seller. You have to think strategically to price ahead of the trend and trying to get people to chase your house. If you try and sell your home like you would sell it in a traditional market, in a market where prices are dropping, people are going to drop below you. They're going to have a different financial need. There's going to be people undercut you. Your home's going to sit. It's not going to sell. You're going to lose more money. By the time you finally get to the right price, it's worth even less than you could have gotten 2 or 3 months ago. In addition to that, condition becomes super important. So price, the number one variable. The next part of it is condition. Looking at potentially staging your home, spending some money and investing in it. No different than someone that owns a business and making capital investments into the business. Home staging is a capital investment for the home seller to invest into the property. If you want your equity, you invest into the property, and then ultimately you have the opportunity to increase the value or increase the chances of a sale or a quicker sale. So staging your home becomes valuable. Condition, addressing any condition items. I call it a price war and a beauty contest at the same time, okay? You're obviously up against all the other active listings and competing on price, so you have to price your home super aggressively, but then you're also looking at condition. How can you beat the other homes that are priced aggressively on condition? What can you do for the best ROI for remodeling? Well, interestingly enough, in 2023, the project, according to recent studies, that reaped the highest ROI was HVAC work. So make sure that you have your AC working properly. Now, this time of year, probably not as important as the heat working properly, the way it's been lately in Tampa Bay. But you want to make sure to to look into those things, whether it's addressing things, upgrading things. Talk to your agent. The best agents in the market know where to spend your money based on your neighborhood. Last but not least, give your curb appeal a boost. I've seen plenty of homes that didn't sell with another agent come to us. We tell the client to pick up the curb appeal, and then it ends up selling. So curb appeal is another thing that can help you get your home sold for top dollar. Last but not least, when it comes to the price, I see a lot of real estate agents and sellers make this mistake, okay? Everything about home search today is online. You're not selling gas at a gas station. You're selling real estate. You want to optimize the number of eyes that get on your property. So you shouldn't price your home at $505 or $495. You should price it right at $400 or $500. You should price it right at $400 or $450. $50,000, $25,000, and $100,000 increments. You want to be on that number, not on the other side of it. So $499.9, mistake. $501, mistake. $474.9, mistake. Those are mistakes. And let me explain why. Because with a company like ours, where we pay for advertising, we pay to enhance our listings on some of these websites, our listings are shown at the top. But if someone's looking up to 500 and we're priced at 505, they never see us. We're not there. We don't get the eyes on it, okay? You're more likely to get 505 listing it at 500 and getting a bidding war than you are listing at 505, because the thousands of people you miss by being on the other side of that strategic search number of 500. You are going to miss way more people than it's worth. The second part of that is you get both sides of the search. Let's say someone says, you know what, I could spend up to 700, but I'm looking and I don't see quality below 500 that I really like, so I'm going to search 500 to 700, okay? Well, two things happen. If you're 495, you miss that search. You're not in it at all. If you're right on the number at 500, you're in. If you're 505, you might be on the second page if they sort by lowest priced. So again, optimizing the number of eyes that could look at your property. The more page views you get, the more click-throughs of your pictures, the more chance it has to turn into a showing and then an offer. So strategically pricing your home makes a big difference as well, and way too many home sellers make that mistake. So hopefully these tips for selling your home were helpful. The last tip I'll give you is hire us. DuncanDuo.com. We can get you a cash offer, we can give you a home value estimate, and we can sell your home traditionally to get you more than what the cash offer is going to offer you. You can do all that and more at DuncanDuo.com. We're not just telling you all this, we're applying for a job. We want the opportunity, and we'd love to help you get to your next step. And I'm going to be back on the other side. I want to talk about those cash offers after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So we're back here on the other side talking about cash offers. Now, look, if you've been living under a rock, you don't see all of the advertisements and companies offering cash for your home today. I'm one of those firms. I do a lot of it. And we've worked with the other big names, and I'm sure you've seen them. They have TV commercials, and you go on their website, and they spit out a cash offer. Well, a couple of years ago, those offers used to be pretty aggressive in terms of being pretty good offers based on market value. Today, the offers keep getting lower and lower. The convenience you pay for when you get that cash offer has never been less or has never cost more than it does now. That convenience is very expensive. So we're finding a lot of times the customers go out and get these offers from those companies, and the amount of money they're going to lose is just too substantial for them to be willing to take. So what we have done, we've developed a relationship with a fund that wants to grow, and not really a fund, but I would call it a group of investors. It's actually a lot of real estate agents to put together a company, and they've targeted markets throughout the country, and ours is one of them. And this company has a really unique proposition for home sellers that is netting home sellers 93% of market value, okay? Pretty much unheard of. Now, minus fees and commissions, okay? So you still got to pay fees and commissions, but cash offers that are paying 93%, and then, again, there'll be commissions involved, that's unheard of. Like, it's hard to compete with that. And they want turnkey property. So if you have a turnkey home, and you want a cash offer, and look, this can't be a home that's on the market. If it's a home that's on the market, they've already seen it, okay? they've already looked at. This needs to be something that isn't out there, isn't available. DuncanDuo.com, request your cash offer. We are presenting all the homes that come through that to this group, and we are seeing some pretty incredible offers, making a lot of clients happy getting some of these offers. So if you want one of those cash offers, just go to DuncanDuo.com. And again, 93% minus fees and commissions. So again, it's no different than if you listed it traditionally and got a 7% drop in your price. But this is cash, quick, clean. They want turnkey properties. Certainly, can we get you more money in a lot of situations? Yes, but there are plenty of consumers that want convenience. If you've got a turnkey home, up to $1.5 million, okay? A lot of the funds won't touch that, okay? A lot of the funds will not buy up to that price point, okay? If you've got a turnkey single-family home, we would love the opportunity to plug you and connect you with them so that you can get on to your next step. Super quick, clean, easy transaction. And paying incredible prices compared to what a lot of the other funds are doing. So if you want that, again, DuncanDuo.com, request cash offer. One of my team members will reach out. We'll end up needing to see the property and go through some steps and help you through it. But we're really excited about unveiling this because we are the first agents, first team, first company in the market to really kind of partner with them. And they're buying a lot of, billions and billions and billions of dollars throughout the country. And the company was started by a real estate broker friend of mine that I've known for over a decade, doing incredibly well for consumers, and would love the opportunity to present offers to them. So again, you can do that at DuncanDuo.com. And look, a cash offer isn't for everyone. It can be quick and clean and convenient, but again, you are 7% off. If you want to get 100% of market value, going on the market traditionally is the way to go. But if you want a quick cash, clean offer, they're beating all the other companies out there right now, and they're very flexible. So if you've got to close fast, if you've got to close slow, if you need a lease back, if you need to stay for a little bit, but again, turnkey. They're not buying flood damaged stuff. They're not buying anything above 1.5. They're not buying with a bunch of acres. But if you've got a turnkey home in a community that really doesn't need much. It can need paint and some few cosmetics, but it can't need massive renovation. It can't need any of the big four. If the roof is shot, they don't want it. They want turnkey. So if you've got that and you just want to move on, again, go to DuncanDuo.com, get your cash offer, and we would love to help you. But again, the cash offer isn't for everyone. If you want max dollar, if your equity is tight, if you don't have a lot of equity, the situation may not work. If you expect to get top dollar, that's where you have to go traditionally. And outside of this group that we're partnered with, I've seen some of the offers from these other funds, and they're often laughable. I'm really amazed at how low some of these offers are. So, seller beware. If you're out there shopping for cash offers, give us a shot. Go to our website, compare what our group can offer you to what you might have gotten by one of the national advertising companies that are spending a lot of that money on those TV commercials. So they've got to get a lot better deal on your home than this group that we're paying that does not advertise direct to consumers. This group that we're working with only works with top real estate agents in the market. And that's their business model. They do not advertise direct to consumers, so you can't directly get to them. You have to go through, us. You have to go through an agent. And the reality of that is we're finding that they're able to generate better offers because of that scenario. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, DuncanDuo.com, get your cash offer. Or you know what? If the cash offer isn't for you, if we present it and you don't like it, then we can roll forward with the traditional listing to maybe put some more money in your pocket. So convenience isn't right for everyone, but it is right for a lot of people. So when we aren't on air again, follow us on all of our socials at The Duncan Duo, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and someday again, TikTok. Someday we'll have it all back. We think it's coming. But we'll be back after a quick break, continuing our conversation here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. I saw a study recently that talked about how canceled sales hit a record in December. And I want to talk about that a little bit. Again, this is Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. Canceled sales oftentimes are mistakes. And I want to kind of help walk you through some potential pitfalls and reasons why consumers are canceling real estate sales that are mistakes. So let me talk about that. The first red flag of why sales get canceled is because you start taking advice from somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. I cannot tell you how many times people are talking to non-homeowners to get advice about buying real estate, especially like parents. Like, it was interesting. Like not long ago, we had a client who was like, well, my dad says this and my dad says that. It's like, well, what's your dad's real estate experience? Oh, he lives in an apartment. He hasn't owned a home in 20 years. So I want to make sure that if you are getting advice about buying real estate, that you listen to someone that has bought real estate, okay? If you're going to get advice outside of your real estate professional or the mortgage professional, make sure it's somebody that has some experience in the space. It's kind of like the blind leading the blind. It's like people on Instagram and TikTok giving people financial advice when they're broke as a joke. Okay. If you're going to take advice from people, make sure they're a proper professional. Make sure they understand. Make sure they're successful. Make sure they have money. Make sure they've bought a house. Make sure they've owned real estate. Again, it sounds so obvious, but I can't tell you how often that's not the case. Well, I'm just going to not move forward. My boyfriend that's 47 and never owned a home before thinks it's a bad idea. Okay. So get advice from the professionals, get advice from people that have accomplished that same thing before. Don't get advice from people that have been fear-mongered their whole life and not done certain things and aren't successful and aren't accomplishing things. Get advice from the right professionals. That's tip number one for the people that are canceling deals. The second thing is as we poll people that end up buying the second or third home after they've canceled the first two, a lot of times they end up settling. The first house was the right house. It was the one, okay? They canceled it for some silly reason because they expected a perfect inspection report. And in the last few years, cancellations have surged because consumer sentiment has changed. We've never as a society been more concerned about what other people think, okay? Just look at Instagram or Facebook and hear people talk about how many likes they did or didn't get. Well, an inspection report is the same thing. Consumers have been led to this belief that they can just filter things. They can just change what they look like. They can just do this. They can put a filter over it. Well, you can't put a filter over a home inspection. There's going to be stuff that's found wrong. And a lot of people are too soft to accept it. So they get an inspection report that they think is bad. Then in reality, it's just a normal inspection report for a home that costs $400,000 in Tampa. It's got stuff that you're going to have to do as maintenance. It's not perfect. There's no such thing as a clean inspection report. That's unfortunately the expectation of a lot of consumers. They think they're just going to get this report back and it's going to say A+ on it and sunshine and rainbows and a bunch of little emojis and they can click a filter button and make it all go away. All right, because that's what society has trained people to do with social media. It's just not reality with buying homes. So you have to separate this attachment to, this instant gratification social world with buying a house in the real world. And buying a house in the real world, no matter the price point, it's going to have stuff wrong with it that you're going to have to take care of as a homeowner, okay? So what ends up happening is they cancel for reasons a lot of the time, not every cancellation. Look, if there's a sinkhole, if there's massive termite damage, if there's massive mold, like there are reasons to cancel a deal. The roof is shot, the AC is shot, the seller won't pay for it. Okay, there's always going to be some deals canceled. But when you see numbers that are hitting record, it's because a lot of consumers are canceling houses for things that are not right. They're bad advice, bad decisions. So we've talked to consumers that have bought the second or third home, and most of the time they don't like it as much as they liked the first one. And guess what? Ends up having the same issues. They just finally spend the money on the multiple inspections, on the multiple appraisals, on the chance that interest rates go up, driving all over creation, spending their Saturday and Sunday, driving all over, spending money on gas. They've gotten tired of it, and they give up. And they just end up closing on a home that probably wasn't the best one because the first one, they got bad advice, they couldn't get out of their own way, and it cost them. So a lot of times the cancellations, that's how that happened. The people end up buying other homes and they end up regretting it. So again, be very conscientious. If you're thinking about canceling, a lot of times it's fear. It's your own fear in the way. It's bad advice. And it's not logical advice. It's not mathematic advice. So I'll give you an example. We had one recently that wanted to cancel because it was about $1,500 in repairs. And some of it was deferred maintenance. If you become a homeowner, so if this is your first time buying a home, okay, you have to expect that you're going to have to spend some money, okay? You're going to have to make some repairs. You're going to have to deal with some deferred maintenance. But you get the upside. You make those improvements, the home value goes up, right? You get the upside, okay? So most homes, again, unless your budget is unlimited, all right, you're going to have issues. You're going to have stuff on that inspection report that isn't done or needs to be taken care of. And so you have this, we had this one where it was $1,500 in repairs and the buyer walks on the deal. The buyer goes to the next house. And here's what happens, okay? And this is what led to a lot of people in the Great Recession losing everything. And I still remember selling real estate in the Great Recession and dealing with this. Somebody goes under contract on a house, and let's just say it needs $1,500 in repairs. Oh, no, I want a clean inspection report. So why don't I raise my budget from $400 to $450? Guess what they find at $450? It needs just as many, if not more, repairs and deferred maintenance. Now they've extended themselves even more, and they still have the same problem. You're going to have inspection issues. You're going to have things that you're going to need to address. What you want to make sure of is the roof isn't shot. When I say shot, I mean like it needs to be replaced now, not 7 years left. Okay. Like I see people being like, oh, we need a new roof because it's going to be gone in 7 years. You ain't going to be in that house in 7 years. Nobody stays in their house 7 years anymore. It's rare. Okay. You're not going to be there. So, if something is shot right now, not that it may be shot someday, look, we might get hit with some huge storm. We got no idea. But if it's shot right now, roof, AC, structural, electric, plumbing, if any of those are shot right now, and I mean shot like the whole thing needs blown up and redone, not like it needs a new pipe here or it needs a patch here. So they'll cancel and then they get to the next home. So then they've wasted money again on an inspection and appraisal. And the same thing happens. And it's a cycle that ends up costing them thousands of dollars when they factor in their time and gas and all these things. And the house really wasn't their first pick. It's the one that they just finally got tired and settled on. Don't get tired and settle on the house that you want. Don't quit. Don't let fear get in the way. Don't take advice from broke people. Like, move forward with the purchase if you can understand that it's logical that the same thing is going to happen on the next house. Get this idea out of your head that you're going to get an inspection report. It's going to have a bunch of cool emojis. It's going to have a little A+ in the corner. It's going to, it's going to make you feel warm, that you can press a button and you get a filter over and it makes everything go away. That's not real life. Okay. Real life is you're buying a house that's going to have some stuff you're going to have to do, but you get the upside. You get the appreciation, you get the write-offs. Okay. So that's the biggest issue. And I think, again, when the market corrects and it's a little tougher in the market, and you've had a lot of real estate agents get into the business that don't have any business in the business and don't know how to handle these obstacles, deals get canceled because they're not strong enough to tell their client they're making a mistake, that the second or third home isn't going to be as good as this one, and that they're going to end up paying more and wasting more time. So way too many deals get canceled for silly stuff. Way too many. So if that's you, if you're in that position or you get in that position, really take a deep breath. Maybe seek some people outside of your circle of broke friends for advice about moving forward with the purchase. And I understand, look, if you don't trust your agent or the mortgage lender because you think they're biased, go find someone else that's experienced to give you advice. Go find someone else that's been through it that knows that, you know what, that's pretty nominal stuff. Like, you're going to have that on any house in that price range. Get out of listening to people that don't have experience on it. Everyone today has a microphone. Everyone can be on social media and act like an expert, but there's a lot of them that aren't. And there's a lot of times people get bad advice and make financial decisions from taking advice from broke people that don't have any business giving them financial advice. So hopefully that helps. But again, try and work through the stuff. One other thing that I would say about canceled deals that I think is really important that can help prevent it, I think a lot of buyers want the sellers to make repairs, and I think that in a lot of situations is a bad idea. Unless it has to be cured to make the insurance or lender, pass the deal or check mark the deal and move forward, I would ask for monetary compensation and you to address fixing it. Here's why: because the seller is going to look for the cheapest way out. They don't have to live with that house after they sell it to you. They're going to look to cut a corner. They're going to look to find the cheapest guy, and they may not do it to the standards that you want. I would rather take the financial, discount, credit, whatever you want to call it, and then get it done myself to make sure it's done the right way, the way that I want it done. The other thing is when the seller does it out of their pocket, you have more obstacles pursuing it if it's not done right, or if there's a warranty issue or the repair fails. Okay. If you do it, you have a much easier chance to work that out with the contractor because you paid them. You're the person on the invoice. When someone else is the person on the invoice, makes it a lot harder to work with that contractor because you're not their client technically. So I'm a big believer in solving inspection items financially versus solving them by having sellers make repairs. And again, when it can be, there are times where the repair is so substantial that the current seller has to do it. But in lieu of it needing to be done for insurance or lending standards, I am a big fan on getting a credit and then the buyer just having to address it post-closing. And there are some carriers and lenders that'll even allow you to do that. That'll allow you to take the credit and then they just need proof that you do the work, even on some of the things that cause red flags with insurance and lending. So hopefully these tips are helpful to help you understand how to avoid cancellations. If you're a home seller and you want an experienced agent to help navigate through this, to help navigate through fighting back against these cancellations, if your house has been on the market and you've had a lot of cancellations, we'd love to apply for the job. Again, you can do that on any of our social channels at The Duncan Duo, or you can hit us up at duncanduo.com, where we would gladly look at the situation, help give you the right advice to decide whether or not you need to fix those things if they've been an ongoing thing, whether you can, or whether the price needs to be adjusted, or whether it's just poor negotiation on the agent's part, which is unfortunately common. We're going to be back. We're going to continue our conversation. We're going to wrap up our last segment after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. And we're here every Sunday. And one of the things I'm excited about this week, and it's interesting because we've it's early, it's January. There's a lot of people, optimistic. There's some people pessimistic about what's going to happen in Tampa Bay real estate. My team got off to a great start this year. And one of the things I've noticed is that our luxury production has really picked up. I think we've put 5 homes above 1.5 million or 5 properties above 1.5 million under contract in the last week or so. So if you're someone who's maybe struggled, your home didn't sell in 2024, you've got a luxury property, you want a different opinion, you want a different approach, we would love the opportunity to apply for the job. And the thing that I want you to know is that on our team, we don't just give those opportunities to anybody. Kind of like if you look at a law firm, you've got like, junior associate attorneys, new attorneys, paralegals. You've got kind of a chart where it kind of rises until you get people at the top that are working with the highest end clients. It's the same thing for us. My top agents, including myself sometimes personally, will interact and help with my top agents on some of the higher end stuff that requires some unique marketing. So if you are someone that is, that was frustrated, you want a team approach, you want an experienced agent that sells a lot of luxury, we would love that opportunity. Again, you can do that at duncanduo.com. Just fill out the form, and basically our system evaluates the home and determines the price range using, data and AI. It's certainly not exactly accurate in terms of the value it spits out, but it tells us the price range that it's likely within, which has us assign the property to a particular agent on our team that handles that area and that luxury price point. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the background. So I want you to be aware that if you are someone looking to buy or sell a luxury high-end home, you're going to get my agents that are the best at that have experience, and ones that are pending those sales right now. You're going to get somebody that's, a better agent, a higher-end agent that sold luxury properties, that sold multi-million-dollar properties. That's what you're going to get. So if you are that person, again, duncanduo.com, we've seen a nice pickup in our own business this year. And I think several of them were people whose homes failed to sell with other agents in 2024. They just didn't get the right negotiating, didn't get the price dialed in right. They didn't get the right, aggressive marketing plan. So if that was you, if you're frustrated, if your home didn't sell, if you're looking for a difference of opinion, we're going to be a lot different. I want you to understand that if you've met with real estate agents and done business before and you've not worked with us, you may have this preconceived notion about what an agent does, or what we're drastically different. We've got a whole bunch of different programs. It's pretty there's a lot of opportunity for you as a seller to decide some things and have some say in different plans that we do. So it's much more interactive. We view it like a partnership where we want to accomplish the same goal that you do. We want to get your home sold. So if that is you, please go to duncanduo.com. Like I said, we've really picked it up. And I think that's a segment of the market that's probably not getting talked about right now as we talk about U.S. people buying real estate. I think our luxury market is ripe for some more international infusion of cash. We saw a drop off the last couple of years in our market from people outside of the country deciding to buy cash. And look, now there are some countries where there's limitations on certain countries buying real estate in Florida right now. Governor DeSantis put some things in place to prevent some of our quote unquote enemies from being able to buy real estate close to bases and close to different things. So there are some limitations in some countries, but there's plenty of them in Europe that come here and buy here. There's Canada. There's a lot of places that still buy Florida real estate. It's been really slow. Well, the reason why is because we have an expectation or belief that a lot of Trump's economic policies are going to be very pro-dollar. So if we expect the dollar currency to improve, there are wealthy people all over the country that might look to park money in Florida real estate and Tampa Bay real estate simply from a standpoint of hedging that and benefiting from that. So if we believe the dollar is going to improve, throughout Trump's term, I think there are a lot of international people that will start looking at our market. And I think our market is one of the desirable ones. Look, we've got a great hockey team. We've got storms that are now several months past, and a lot of that's cleaned up and getting better. But that also provides some good deals. And it also provides affordability when you compare us to a Miami, for example. So I think we're going to see some influx of outside the country cash, and that's specifically and typically in the higher end markets. We intend on tapping into that. Our company LPT is launching in some of those other areas as we expand, internationally. So if that's something that you believe your home needs exposure to, it's something we're very much focused on. So again, same website as always, duncanduo.com. Fill out a form. Our team of luxury agents will reach out to you if you have a higher end home to sell. We'd love the opportunity to talk you through about how we're going to get that exposure and why we believe that we are going to see more international purchases in Florida from that, likely improvement in our dollar. So we appreciate you tuning in. We hope that you're recovering from our winter week and recovering from a successful Gasparilla. And we're going to be back next week like we are every Sunday. When we aren't on air, again, always check us out on socials. We're always posting stuff. We're giving away tickets to Lightning games. We give away signed jerseys. You can do all that and so much more on all of our socials at The Duncan Duo. and have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay.